Yeah, bro, that lady always scared me. But every time it's the government's watching. But nah, bro, like the fact that, just the fact that the THC, like how it can go from in one strain, exact same strain, just using as an example, Pink Kush, 27%. Then all of a sudden, roughly the next 3 weeks later to get a new shipment, it's at 16%. It is BS. But you were saying about your pen, like how it's not the best.
It's not just the pen, but it's just like in cases of like the percentage we see on bags in Canada. Speaking in Canada, you'll see like, what is this one? Oh, see, this one doesn't even, oh, there it is, 20% THC. Like you'll have like shit like that. And some of them won't even have that. There's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to just packaging, which really drives me up the wall, because when it comes to the percentage, it's really just like a basic gauge, but it doesn't really necessarily, like, it doesn't really speak to the actual like profile of the cannabis plant that's in that container or whatever, because they don't have, for most part, they don't have terpene profiles on any of the fucking product labels, which really drives me up the wall, because terpenes are where you need to like pay attention to like what you want. It like determines your high, it determines the smell, it determines everything when it comes to like the potency, like everything when it comes to like the actual bud itself. Most companies don't put it on the fucking label, which drives me up the wall. But that's the one thing you need to pay attention to is the terpenes.
And that's what I was going to ask, because I was going to say question. So the terpenes, like the fact that those are the things that control literally everything, whether, and I'm just thinking, how are these things determined as far as, is it specifically the grower? I know in these newer days, like it's down to a science. So that's why it's like, that's why it throws me off when strains are so different. And I know I was talking about THC, and I know you're expressing about terpenes now, but that's why I'm so thrown off when like percentages are so like the vast gap between it. It's like, man, and then because everything's being broken down, but again, nothing can be perfect, but everything's being broken down like with the science now, right?
It's hard to even be consistent with it because it's still a plant, right? Unless you're completely manufacturing it like a fucking, like a piece of plastic or something like that. It's always going to be just a little bit under or a bit more up
on some snowflake shit.
Yeah, it's hard to replicate the same potency every time, but that's why they put if you look on the OCS website, you'll see how it's like 21 to 25 or 15 to, because it's a gauge. It's like, okay, it's in this range, and that's how they've determined that's how they're going to determine how people gauge like the heaviness with it. And it really, really doesn't matter at times, because we sell some bags, we sell some like $100 ounce bags that are like 15%, like for an ounce of it, like it's like 15% in it. That weed will still get fucked up.
But you know what's wild, Trent? When I see little things like say you go on like a dispensary's website and it says just like all-purpose indica cannabis.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 14 grams for whatever. I'm looking at, I just tripped because it's like, so y'all just got some unknown ass indica or whatever that you're selling for this, like in the sense of like to be able to pinpoint the strains, like, yo, this is Death Bubba and Skywalker OG or whatever. It just as an example, it's like you think to yourself, damn, it's kind of a mystery bunch. Not saying it won't get you fucked up, and not saying that it's not quality bud, but just it makes you think is all I'm saying. Because it's called all purpose, as if you're supposed to be baking with it, like it's flour or something.
Yeah, I know. So I have an answer for that too. It's just a matter of like capitalism, basically. With that, they'll put like, when it comes to like certain companies, they only do ounces. Some companies, they do ounces. They do this, they do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When it comes to like when you see anything where it's like so and so, like, I don't know, Stone Bakery Productions fucking weed company, all-purpose sativa. That's basically what they went around, is they found like their sativa plants and they've all been like harvested and they're like separated and whatnot, and they just fill up the bag of just random mix of sativa. So it's just a bunch of sativa strains in one bag, but it's still a sativa or an indica or a hybrid sort of thing. When it comes down to the specific ones, they put them in these fucking containers here. or they'll put them in glass containers. If you see like a 3.5 or something like that in a glass container, that is absolute top bud. Like the best bud that came off that fucking plant is in the glass containers. They sell that for more because they can, because it's a higher quality. La da 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 da. And then
Yeah.
from down on, they'll put it in here. And then the bigger bulk stuff is not like, it's not always the bullshit buds, but it's like, I'd say like like the middle of the plant, probably down. And then it depends on the company, but the pre-rolls can be all over the place.
I was gonna say, man, because like, this is just things well, like me just being perceptive. These are things I can see as a customer in that regard, as far as, and not even as a customer in that regard, because I've grown before or whatever. Like, hey, I don't give a shit, bro. It is what it is, government. I've grown before, but what I'm saying is how I view things and like how things are now. It's a little tricky because once you see those all-purpose bags, or once you see certain things, and although as you're expressing what you might have learned, that it's just a mix of sativas. I don't know, man. Like that's the inconsistency part, that it's like everything is just business in that regard. Of course, you have to manufacture, but sometimes they'll tell you on the sites, grown in outside, or like outdoor grown or whatever, or facility grown, greenhouse, or whatever. Like just it'll tell you with all the information that we have now. It just makes you think. Only because it goes
Honestly,
like, yeah, it just makes you think. So
if you want the absolute same stuff every time consistently, you have to pay for it a lot more. And that's
mhm,
just the sad
mhm.
part of it. I really hate it's
No,
like
no,
that right now.
yeah, it's the
But
reality.
like, but once again, like there's a few companies like I can recommend off the top of my head that have just like consistently decent product every time, whether it be just their bud, whether it be their distillate, whether it be their pre-rolls and their bud. Like
Well, hey,
it's
man,
just it's
hey,
just it's a different thing, man.
I was just gonna say, hey, man, well, definitely we can shout them out, but at the same time, we got to make sure my boy
Hey,
Trent
they
gets
gotta pay
paid.
me first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got to make sure my boy Trent gets paid, because in some real shit, bro. Like, though we might be enjoying our own, like we have our specifics that we may go to. Yeah, bro. It's like, nah. This is a day and age where slowly but surely, as we get bigger, and I don't give a damn, bro. We gonna make moves. That's what it turns into. Trent's gonna have his own strain. I'm definitely gonna have my own strain. It's gonna be some type of. I have to go sativa only because as I'm getting into these
Same.
new sativas. Don't get me wrong. I got the Death Bubba now. That's an indica, but bro, them sativas be going hard, bro. Like the right mixture where it's like, oh, put you on your ass, and you're like, wait a minute, but you're not sleepy in no way, shape, or form. You could smoke them shits all day.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. I couldn't have said it any better myself because I'm on the same mission. Like I bought like an ounce a while ago of some indica stuff, and after that I was like, I can't do this. Like I smoke, if I'm gonna be here like at home doing shit, I'm smoking all day. Like
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
just smoke indicas all day unless I want like a fucking like Red Bull right beside me all day to like keep drinking it. Like, and that's not healthy. So
No,
I'd
hell
rather
no.
just
Hell
smoke
no.
I'd rather just stick with sativas. So that's like literally all I have over here is all sativas. So like fuck it. And yeah, I'm on the same mission. If it was gonna be a strain, it would be a heavy duty sativa, some like crazy Acapulco Gold Cross with some like other ridiculous fucking hardcore in like sativa. Oh,
No, see, and that's the beauty of it, Trent, because it's like once you find your treat, it's like, oh man. And it's like there's so much variety, and that's why, like, as we were talking earlier about like different terpenes and things like that, bro, the fact that there's so much variety of herbs you can choose from, it's kind of like I don't know, like it's kind of like if you were to be choosing like other nourishment, or other music, I should say, where it's like you have to kind of listen sometimes to see which ones you rock with. So it's like sometimes you might listen to a whole song and you're like, that's unfortunate. I kind of wasted my time because I didn't fuck with that or whatever. But same with the herb, right? Where you might be thinking to yourself like, shit, I just bought a half quarter of this weed and about a gram in, I'm not feeling it, right?
try buying an ounce of it and feeling it like like halfway, like not even halfway through after the first bowl. It's like, oh fuck, I've got 20 fucking 8 grams of that to go through now. Lovely.
No, and that's the thing. You're right. That's a rather large amount. But beyond that, Trent, you know what's wild? Having that much. That's why in my personal opinion, that's why I don't think I've ever. I mean, don't get me wrong. Unless it's like top premium, like Khalifa Kush or something wild like that, and I don't mind saying that because I know I'm gonna work with Wiz Khalifa one day. I'm putting that shit out there. But I say all that to say, like, nah, bro, like I've had a little bit of that before, just a little bit. Like about like maybe a half quarter or a quarter or something, because that's all I could get at the time. Bro, that shit had me done. I understand that that's literally why it's the only one he smokes, only his. I understand that shit. But I say that to say, you can get a pound of that shit and never ever feel like, oh man, I'm tired of this. Versus some of the stuff where it's like middle to high range, it's still really great stuff, but then you get halfway through and you're like, damn, like you just said, it's like, I just, but then at that point, which I'm sure you probably did, you start giving it out to the homies and stuff, or you know what I mean, maybe sprinkling.
Oh yeah, I gave the rest of that indica ounce away. I was like, I had like maybe like probably a quarter left, and I gave it to a buddy of mine. He was like, dude, you gave me like, you did not have to give me that much. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna miss it, trust me. So here you go. And no, that's how it works, right? You pay it on, you pay it forward if you can.
Yeah, exactly. And though it might have been something that you might have not have needed, because somebody, even if it was a pair of shoes, a jacket, whatever, somebody might be like, yeah, yo, but that used to be yours or whatever, right? But then it's like, nah, bro, don't look. I can't look at it like that because someone else is going to need it. But before we jump into that type of shit, I wanted to talk to you about some of these outrageous motherfucking weed names, bro. So earlier today, my boy Trent decides to send me a picture of a strain. Bro, you want to tell him what the strain was called?
Oh, hold on, I gotta bring the fucking screenshot back up. It's called. I'll put it up too. Pineapple dog shit.
Now, to the beautiful people out there listening, I'm curious as to what they were thinking, like who they paid to name it that. But it's like, I get it, the different strains that are in there, that are in there, it combines, and then, but to name it that, it's like, come on, bro. You could have named it Pineapple Breeze or something like that. Like how Pineapple Express, you could have named that shit Pineapple Breeze or some shit, or Strawberry Breeze or some shit, you know? But I'm just saying,
it's a hybrid of primal English, it's hard. It's a hybrid of Pineapple Punch and Chem Dog. So that's where the dog shit part comes in. But I don't know why the shit. Like, why don't you just like Pineapple Dog or something like that? Yeah. Somebody would have laughed at somebody taking that up. But Pineapple Dog shit's just like, God damn it. Like
you put yourself in a weird situation when you walk up and be like, yeah, let me get a half quart of that Pineapple Dog shit. Wait a minute. Then the guy at the cash register is like, wait a minute, what the hell? Why are you cursing at me, bro? You guys named it this. Or whatever,
well, right? It's also like Alaskan Thunderfuck. Like, huh?
Like that. It's like, bro, I'm with my moms and shit. She about to get a little something. No, I'm just fucking. But like, if you're the type of person who blazes it down with your mom or your pops or something, y'all together, you try to be a little bit respectful, but you got to say it. So you're
ATF like, then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or you got to hit it. You got to hit them with yeah. I'm just gonna order it online and pick it up. I'm not so I don't have to say it or whatever. But like, because I got homies, Trent. I got homies who. They was doing their thing back in the day as far as selling the herbs, and then they hit you with this that Oscar the Grouch, bro. This that Oscar the Grouch. And you're like, what? What? Yo, out here tripping.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, this that fluffy snow cone. What? And then you're like, okay. But then you see the herb and it's all crystallized, and you're like, I understand why you're saying it looks like a snow cone or whatever, but at the same time, it's like just the names.
I think the best one you ever told me was the Peter Pan Kush.
Bro, that shit. People, I know, talking about after you hit this, you're gonna be in Neverland, bro. I'm like, shit. That's that dumb shit, man. I'm telling you, but it makes you laugh because it's like these motherfuckers is getting creative at this point. Yeah, yo, this that Barney. What you mean? He shows me the bud. It's all purple and crystal and shit. I said, oh, well, and then next, in my head, I'm thinking, yo, this is the outrageous motherfucker, bro. This guy's tripping. But you know, on Star Wars, bro, Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mace Windu, with the purple lightsaber?
Yeah.
A motherfucker hit me with that. Yeah, this that Windu. This that Windu. No! he's like named after Mace Windu, bro. This that, and he showed me it's a purple bud. I said, all right, cool. But this is the type of life I'm living as far as the different names, bro. It's just because even if it had an original name and it's OG Kush, but then you just want to put your own twist on it. You know what I mean? Yeah, this that young Thunderbolt. What? Young Thunderbolt? And then like, why you just keep it as it is, my G? Keep it as it is. But
too funny.
I don't know.
It's
It's
too
funny.
funny. I love the creativity involved in it, like especially
Yeah.
like now with some of the strains like Dank Rainbow, like shit like
Yeah.
that. Like
You out here tripping.
they're
You out
just
here
it's just
tripping.
hilarious. And there's some of them where it makes no sense. Like me and the one guy we were talking to, like, how the fuck does they come up with this? Like this doesn't even have like it's not even like a yellow bud or anything like that. And they're calling it banana kush, and it's just like I don't know. It doesn't even smell like it. It just like they just put the name onto it, I guess. But anyways, it is what it is. But it was either that. I remember also back in the day, some dealers would be like, like if there's like celebrities who died recently, like, oh yeah, this is the shit that killed so and so, you know. It
Oh
was like,
yeah, but them ones foul. Them ones is foul though. Them ones is foul. You can't be like, yeah, this that thing that got such and such up out of here because or no, like Snoop Dogg talking about. Or, I think it was Snoop talking about, yeah, this that thing that killed John Wayne. I'm like, oh shit, and he's smoking on a huge ass blunt or whatever, and I'm just like, yo, these motherfuckers is crazy. But
I had this guy. I had this guy say this. This is the shit they gave Kennedy before they put him in the limo, and I was just like, no, no.
It's that bullshit, you know. My man's was high as a giraffe neck when he was in the whip, is what they saying. That's crazy. He's high as high as giraffe ears. That's fucked up, bro. That's
like I said,
up.
I would kill to be like somebody who just names strains and stuff like that. Oh yeah, here's the bud. We don't know what to name it. Here was it's made of this, and here smell it, smoke it, tell us what you think, and come up with a name. That'd be dope. Literally.
You know what's crazy about it? Like I'm sure you've seen the movie Pineapple Express. My man's who was the kingpin or whatever of the Kush, he was burning it down and naming it. Like he would twist it up, smoke it, and then hit him with the this, that, whatever. And it's like, and then the dude's writing it down in a binder, bro, just tripping. What's that?
Pineapple Express. It's its own strain now.
Is that a distillate or whatever?
Yeah, that's one of the carts for it's the top of this.
Okay,
that's just up. This.
You just
it's just this.
Okay, that's what's up though, man. Because it's like, I don't know, Pineapple Express. Like I remember I tried that. I tried that back in the well, at least what they said it was back in the day, as far as like, because every time something fly happens, everybody wants to name whatever they name it after, right? Like that's why it's like, man, these motherfuckers is crazy. Talking about this, that, Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie, what the fuck? And it's like it's got the orange and the yellow little hairs on. It's like, see, that I get it. I get why you say it, but it's still like, it just makes you think again about being a creative person and naming it. And then you have to charge motherfuckers hella money. Like, yo, I'm giving y'all creative geniuses, Greek geniusness. so I'm gonna need you to trip out and, you know what I mean? You have to pay me.
But there's also ones where it goes the other way. It's like the pineapple dog shit. There's ones that are just off-putting named, like nut butter. That one's like a weird name one, but holy shit, dude. Like we had a customer buy one and they showed us the nugs on it. It was like white nugs, and it stank. And it was just like, ho.
They call it nut butter. That's
that one, green crack.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Like I don't want to be.
Marijuana was another one. That one I haven't seen in years.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that until you just said it. Heroin? No, hell no. I don't even feel comfortable saying that. Yeah, I don't even feel comfortable saying that shit. Talking about, it's gonna have you feeling like a dope fiend. Wait a minute. I don't want to feel like that. Like, I don't want to feel like that. Like, it's gonna have you on the. Not even that, bro. You're gonna be laid out on the couch, just you can't move and shit. Because after like, if somebody hits that, at least in the nod. At least in the movies, exactly. Because I don't be fucking around with motherfuckers who be doing that type of shit. So it's like in the movies, they hit that vein, and then it's like they go off. The 70s music starts playing, and then they go off into that. They fall back hella slow into the couch, and then it's like you know what I mean? That shit is funny as hell. Oh, speaking of that, at some point, I'm telling you, just like the Olympic, the Olympic. When we were talking earlier about the corn dog comedy sketch.
Oh God.
The fact that there's those types of sports, not necessarily in the Olympics, but I feel like they might be in the Olympics. But either way, that's crazy to me. And on top of the fact that cornhole or corn dog, whatever it's called, because again, cornhole, because I'm not in that culture, but the fact that that type of shit is represented, curling, all those types of sports, bro, I'm telling you, that shit is crazy to me. But because you go to the Winter Olympics, you be seeing that type of shit. And it's like, these are the types of sketches and movies. Like we got to go hard because people they need to see this shit.
Dude, you're talking about fucking sketchy Winter Olympics skeleton. It's like luge, but you're going head first. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I don't understand that. people, I understand people are like, because I was talking to like a really cool woman or whatever, and we were just talking, going back and forth about expressing the Olympics and stuff. And it's like, yes, those athletes are super special, best in their country, cool. But other motherfuckers be training just as hard and can do what they do, not in the sense of a spotlight, but in the sense of a, like, for example, if I had to sprint 100 meters to save a life or whatever, and that other person sprinting 100 meters to save a life, and I beat them, does that mean I'm an Olympian? Not necessarily, but that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Anyway, to put yourself through certain things, like when they're on the ice skates and they're just flying down hills and shit like that, you have no control. You literally have no control. If you're skiing in certain regards, you have no control. Like you're just boom, boom, boom. That's how you hear when people they be tearing their knees up and shit, ACLs and shit. You have no control, but so much, right? But it's just, it makes you think the craziness of the Olympics is all I'm saying. And how motherfuckers do those sports.
There's that Georgian guy, he died. I think it was either luge or skeleton. He literally died in the Olympics. Like he came off the track and he hit a fucking
pole. And he hit a wall or a pole, and he splattered. Bro, that shit. See, that's the most heartbreaking shit, because it's like, yo,
when do you just say, no, I'm good? you know, it ain't worth it.
Many people went right back into the sport talking about, I'm ready for next year. You didn't just see what had happened. You motherfuckers is crazy.
And it's practice. Like, it wasn't even in competition. It was just a practice run through too. Like what the fuck?
What was the one? It might be the same event that you just expressed, but it's like, I feel like there was one where Buddy hit a wall though, where he like, or it might have been the same, where it's like, unfortunately, yeah, man, like my man, yeah, it's just, but those are the types of scary freak accidents that it's like, you can't really, people doing all these gymnasts and shit, doing all these high flips in the air and 3, 4, 5 flips in the air, and then expecting to just land on their feet and get the 10 and shit. It's like, nah, bro, you might land directly on your shit neck and then that's it. We don't see you no more. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying don't compete, because that's the whole, like I said, that's the whole point of them doing it, because they practice and practice and practice. But it's like, yo, freak accidents are real in a bitch. Human error is real in a bit. Fucked around and yeah, man, it's different.
Especially in any type of like competition. Like there's way too many like, well, there's always going to be accidents, but like high risk competitions and stuff like that, or especially full contact and stuff like that, you can see some pretty fucked up things happen. Like Dale Earnhardt, I remember him dying. I remember I was not watching that race, but I remember watching highlights of the race, and they're showing him crashing, and that was him pretty much dying every time. So it's just like, it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
Yeah, people. Anytime you die on a racetrack or die in a freak accident, as far as like where there's like machinery involved, those ones is just like, damn, because you know that person, unfortunately, like the chances of survival are so much less, is what I'm like, and it's like, yeah, it throws you off in that regard, for sure.
Like, it's crazy, like sports in general, but life in general, like anything, we're all just trying to like escape the grave as long as we can, but like it's crazy how certain things elevate, like push you closer to it. You know what I mean? Like even stuff like sports, or just not even doing sports, like being the complete opposite and not doing anything at all, like just sitting around. You know what I mean? That also pushes you, like it's fucked up just how like,
yeah. It's like trying to find a perfect balance in the sense of living out your life and do it, thrill chasing, and you know what I mean, and getting that adrenaline out, but then also being able to just have resolve and be calm, and like how your parents might be like, bro, sit your ass down. Like you don't need to always be out and about. Chill, sit down. Like that perfect balance of just, but it's different. But in other news, as far as medals, I'm just reading off this motherfucking website. Canada has 6 golds, 6 silvers, 11 bronze, while China's got 38 goals, 31 silvers, 18 bronze. Now, I say all that to say, bruh, as far as Olympic, because this isn't back in like ancient Rome and Greece and shit, where the true Olympians, like you fighting lions or you fighting, you know what I mean? Like on some Hercules, like you might be thinking back, because that's technically where it came from, right? Like being in the Colosseum and all that type of shit, and chasing like gladiators and different shit like that. Like just as far as different. This probably, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying as far as to be able to put X amount of hundreds of people in a Coliseum And like as far as like the fine tuning of it, like the whole ceremonial shit of it, like I'm pretty sure they lit torches and all that goofy shit back then too. But I'm just saying,
So
it's
that was
wild.
a whole different thing. The Romans and the gladiatorial games and all that were all slaves and like POWs and stuff like that and criminals. So that's why they were trained to be gladiators. So it was
I was gonna
basically a
say,
way.
in context, isn't that like the entertainment? Isn't it the entertainment? Like that's kind of where I'm going with it, as far as like how different cultures had their version of that same Olympics. Is like is what I'm basically saying. It's not about saying literally it came right from that idea, but it kind of shifted into this. You're competing against other countries, or you're trying to. It's like all physical feats, and it's, you know what I mean. It's not really exactly, I don't know, like how else to explain it other than like the physical aspect of it, like the fact that they're competing against each other, the fact that there's historic bits and pieces that are added to this, like throwing javelins, using swords, fencing, like that's all different pieces from different cultures, is what I'm saying.
Yes, shot put, stuff
man,
like that.
Like the Herculean hold, bro, all that type of shit is
the most fucked up thing I think is the marathon, because the first guy who ever ran a marathon ran 27 miles and died afterwards. So every other person after a marathon is basically flexing on a dead guy, like, oh, I ran this thing and didn't die, basically. Like, what the fuck?
But Trent, what that also says in context, because this isn't everything, but through the times, through the decades, like people fine tune their like the whole, whether it's the physical, like to know how to specifically train for specific things, not just getting buff or getting whatever. Like, you know, okay, if I'm a sprinter or a runner or whatever, I need to be thin and lean. If I'm a power lifter, I need to be buff and strong. If I'm you know what I mean? Like that's the beauty of it now. But it's like the fact of it being just kind of like brute, like back in those days, whether just as far as mentioning like people facing lions and people facing other, whether it's slaves, as far as like within two, or even going back to just unfortunately like African American slaves, like Mandingo fighting, like just as far as just everybody goes above and beyond to be physically at their peak. But it sucks that like the weird bits and pieces from history that these Olympic Games would stem from, because it's like when you think about it, it's like, what are you really competing for? Other than like literally like I'm stronger than you or I'm faster than you. It's literally it. But it's countries.
Yeah.
And then it's like once you have the most golds, aka China, right now, what does that mean other than what most already know? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you can read between the lines, you know what I mean? It's just it's a representation. Technically, Canada's in 14. USA's second with 36 golds. And then Japan and so on and so forth. I don't know.
It's difficult, especially when it comes to the Olympics, when it comes to like countries like China and like the US and other like large countries, because they have more athletes they can put in the field for certain different things and afford to do that, where other countries just don't have like the numbers or the money or the infrastructure for all that. So so they take that into consideration. And then Canada won our first ever golden soccer.
The women's. No, and then that's what's dope, because everybody was like, oh, now Captain Sinclair can retire and be good, and when that is great for her, because if we've always been getting like bronze and shit like that and silver and sometimes not even placing a medal, and then for her to, because I'm pretty sure she's up there in age now, where it's like now that I got a gold, I'm cooling. But and that's the beautiful story in my opinion of it. These other women are probably young enough to try to get back there in 4 years, so the torch is going to be passed. I wonder who she's going to pass it to. As far as like, granted she leaves, I'm saying I wonder what player she would pass that captaincy to. But yeah, man, that is a dope story though, for at least for women's soccer, man. That is crazy. Big. That is big.
It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I could care less about most of this stuff. Like when it comes to
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
When it comes to me, unless somebody's not getting jacked in the jaw, I'm not watching. Basically, like I watch combat sports. I watch like the crazy shit just because like that's what I want to watch, basically. But at the same time, like I'm not normal. So there you go.
I'm not normal, but that's what it is too, man. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think about it, Trent, like if you're not gonna do or indulge in what you want to indulge in, like, what's the purpose of trying to live, right? In that regard, like, why be like, oh nah, bro, I gotta watch the Olympics, or I gotta watch the Super Bowl, I gotta watch it, whatever, just because everyone else is, bro. You know what's crazy? There's so many, everyone on the planet, like, let's just say there was 8 billion people. Everyone has their own respective reality. Why am I going to go out of my way to compete / want to be within yours? It's just a question I'm asking the people listening. Why would I want to do that? Why would we want to do that? Why should we do that? Ask yourself.
Especially when it all ends the same for everybody, regardless of what happens between now and then. So I don't know. I'm not in a competition with anybody. I just take it one day at a time. If you want to go out there and run a race, to like go a million miles an hour, run a race, like, peace, have fun. More power to you. I'm just sitting here chilling, making it through to the next day, enjoying myself.
But that's the best way, in my opinion. That's one of the best ways to look at it, Trent, because it's like, if you're going to put yourself and subject yourself to like literally being in all types of competitions, and especially when it's like a lot of this shit, bro, like, yes, when you get to certain ages and certain aspects, like, and you if you have certain discipline level and things like that, you can try to shape and mold your life. But in a lot of cases, if it comes from just as soon as you're born, you don't choose that. So it's like, granted, you get put in certain situations, different factors relate to us having the life we want to live. So if you can do that, build that shit up every day, I would implore you to do that. I really would. Instead of competing and looking around and going on Instagram and being like, oh, my life is not theirs, I'm upset. Fuck that shit, bro. I'm sorry. I ain't on that, bro. I hope somebody listening can feel, is feeling the vibe in that regard. You feel me? Like,
I feel you. It's just like, honestly, it's just, for me, it's being grateful for what I have and not for what I wish I had, sort of thing. And especially like in terms of like, if my friends are successful, it's just, you can't be mad at it. Like, well, they're fucking successful and you're not. So, or whatever else. If you're going to look at it that way, then what the fuck? Like, success is for what you define it as, really. Success in other people's eyes, that is what their opinion is. But at the same time, if your friend's like doing thing and like making moves and all that shit, and you're just going to be a hater about it, like, really? That's how you want to live your life? Like, honestly, like, support them or just don't pay attention to it. Like, that's basically it. You know?
no,
That's the only way to do it.
It sounds pretty ideal, man. I don't know. It's good. It's good that, of course, everyone has their own perspective, and it's good that there are challenges in life. I say it's good because that's what develops, in my opinion, I feel like that's what develops most of us, like, helps us get to our next day, is when we get to overcome certain challenges and be like, yo, man, like somebody said to me, things aren't brought to you that you can't overcome. And I thought about it like, it's not about, I'm not talking about it for every scenario, because I realize, well, actually, no, that depends on perspective too, because it can be for every scenario. Even if you're faced with something extremely horrible, granted, you have a perspective after the fact of, you know what, I'm still going to live, I'm still going to be joyous, da 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 da. Shit, you overcame that. So it's like, when they say, so now when I'm thinking about it, I hope that somebody who's listening could vibe with that and just be like, yo, we're faced with a lot of shit that we feel like, oh man, but then 5-6 years after the fact, Trent, you might look back and say to yourself, yo, I passed that. I fucking succeeded. I actually made it over this. How many people told me I couldn't do this? How many people told me I couldn't do that, and I accomplished it? And then you next thing you know, your fucking momentum starts building, man.
Yep. I couldn't say it any better, sir. Really, I couldn't say it any better.
But that's what it is. But yo, I don't know if you have anything you want to, mention to the people, or not, or like we can rap in, if you want to rap.
Be careful with the fucking vape pens, folks. Holy hell.
My boy Trent said, I'm fried.
Yeah, you hit it too hard some days, and it's just all hits you at once. And then, especially if you're drinking, like, that's a bad news bears combination right there. So yeah, be careful with them, folks.
I feel you, bro. That's funny as ever. Nah, bro, but that's what it is. Man, we out here feeling nice. Man's out here. My man said, I'm out here fly as hell. I'm blazed up. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. Enjoy yourself, people. It's another episode of Ultra Fly Talk, and we in this bitch. My name's Graham.
I'm Trent.
We out this thing, yo.